What's going on, guys? Episode 15 of the Bodhi Bros. How to stop caring what other people think of you. I'm Bodhi Ray.
And I'm John with a J.
So,
And
actualize.org. Leo, how to stop
yo,
caring what people think of you.
Leo. I have
Leo.
one prior experience with Leo, and we touched upon it briefly in a previous episode. I was led to a video that he expertly crafted on the subject of spiral dynamics.
Yeah, I
And
sent you that video.
yeah, that was really, really good video. So I was hyped to get into another Leo video. He has a huge following. This video has over 3 million
Yeah.
views. So very popular. And why wouldn't it be with the subject? What is it again? How to not care
How
what
to
other
stop caring what people think of you.
how to
So, which is
stop
something
caring.
that I think something we all deal with at least some point in our life, to at least to some degree as well.
Right. Or we desperately want to stop, or we don't know how to stop, or we're interested in, is it possible to not care? And is it okay if I don't care? And all those things. And I think he briefly touches upon those elements. But I'm going to take a big breath here, Ray, and just say, take us away, because I'm going to, we always have committed to being raw and purely authentic,
Well,
which
to
this
me,
video does lead us down the streets of gracing the shores more and more, as uncomfortable as it may be raw and authentic. However, I'm just going to take that breath because I need some time, Ray.
wow. Well, for me, I really like this video. I enjoy this one. I know it was one of our longer videos that we reviewed at 57 minutes. But to me, it actually felt shorter than some of the other ones we watched. Like, to me, this felt shorter than the one we did on Tara Brock. Maybe it's because I was more engaged in how he was explaining himself and articulating his points of view. But I really enjoyed this one. And to me, I think this is one that I would probably maybe even go back to every once in a while. Maybe even like once a year or something, just to kind of watch it and maybe just get a refresher to center myself, or just to maybe get that extra motivation. So to me, I liked it. I thought everything he said was very clear and concise. Didn't feel like he held anything back.
This is exciting for me because I, for once in our 15 series long now podcast endeavor together, have always pretty much concurred with you. I am on the opposite side of the rainbow on this one, man. I couldn't get into it. It felt like the 57 minutes was 570 minutes. And I always dedicate myself to watching it at least 2 or 3 times. I couldn't. I even had the time right before the episode. I'm like, dude, you have an hour. Watch it again. I'm like, I am not spending the next 57 minutes doing this again. I have no notes for the first time, I think, in any episodes
Wow.
that we've done. So I'm like, and before, again, our pre-Zoom session before we hit record, Ray and I talk about this, that, and the other, but we really try not to ever talk about how we felt about the episode. And I was about to say, Ray, what have we gotten
You know
into?
what, John? I don't
What?
care what you think.
It's perfect. It's perfect.
I don't care.
It's perfect. Because last time when I was like, Ray, I was really concerned with this video that you brought, the Tara Brock one. It looked like you did care a little bit. And I was like, ooh, this is triggering him a little bit. Like he's like, fool, if you don't like the videos, then you pick a video. I kind of saw that energy building. But this time you really look like you don't care. And I love that. This is why you got something out of this. So let's talk about what you pulled out of it. And I know there were some things along the way that I would say that I will always take away from.
Well, he starts off talking about people pleasers, and that how people pleasers are always looking externally for that validation, looking for that approval, that acceptance. And when you're being a people pleaser, what you're really doing is you're pushing away your dreams. You're pushing away your authenticity because you want that. You're trying to get that approval, that validation. And basically what he says too, it's a shitty strategy. It's a shitty strategy because it doesn't, even if it works the best, even if you become the people pleaser and you please your family your spouse, your friends, what are you really getting out of that? You know,
Because
is it really that fulfilling?
right, because
And he even
you are,
goes on,
I'm sorry, go ahead, go ahead.
and he goes on to say what's really fulfilling is following your dreams, following your own path, being rooted in your own values, not worrying about the criticism or the good opinions from other people, and not trying to get that back reflected back to you. You know, and even the good stuff that comes back is, you know, the bad advice, the criticism, and you know, a people pleaser cares way too much about other people's opinions. Like, let's say even someone has a bad opinion of you, a people pleaser may go out of their own way just to try to like fix or correct that and try to make that person see you as a good person. And yeah, I kind of, you know, I've seen that, and I don't think I've ever really done that, but I've seen other people do that where, you know, if someone's hurt, maybe you've hurt someone's feelings, or you think you offended somebody, and so you start to think, oh, that person may think I'm, you know, I'm a jerk, so I'm gonna be extra nice to that person from now on, or I'm gonna, like, you know, maybe give them a compliment next time I see them, or come out with some sort of strategy to make them change their opinion, to see you as a good person, because that's what you want, because you're holding on to that image so strongly, you're so attached to that, which probably comes back to something in childhood. I imagine that you got that acceptance and that approval from your parents, from being a good boy or a good girl, and that probably just carried on in adulthood. And you know, you didn't really have maybe a voice to express how you really felt. And you know, maybe you did try to express how you really felt sometime as a child, and you were put down, or you know, show that your opinion, what you want or what you think, doesn't really matter. So you think, okay, well, I didn't get the acceptance or approval from my family by speaking my mind and speaking my truth. I better hold that in, and you know, and try to like conform to what I think people really want to hear, want me to say. Kind of almost like the ego sort of becomes like a shapeshifter. You know, the ego is always trying to like become like a chameleon and try to conform to what it thinks will bring acceptance from this person or that person or this crowd or this social circle. Because that's really what we really want. We want to feel that approval, that acceptance. Um, you know, we all want that feeling of unity, that feeling of oneness. But we kind of go about it sometimes being phony and being fake, not being true to ourselves.
High five on bringing up the emotional root cause, and diving into that for a moment, because that's what I was hoping that he was going to hit upon during the video at some point. I'm like, dude, he's got to talk about the traumatic root of this. Like, he's got to talk about the importance of unearthing that and connecting with that. But never did I at least remember him navigating down those avenues.
Not really. He talked
And
about like early on when you came from Russia to the U.S. He talked about how he had to adapt to that, but he didn't really go into trauma.
right. Like, why would that become a pattern for him or anyone that would lead you to become a people pleaser, and how to maybe more deeply connect with that and become aware of it. Whereas me, it sounded like he just was, it was almost, and we can explore this. As I wrote down some things as you were speaking. Now I'm filling up my note page now that Bodhi Ray's got the mic. And I almost felt like spiritual bypassing, or, you know, starting to chant mantras and bulldozing, so to speak. When it's like, all right, this is the way you used to think. Fuck that. You're going to start thinking this way. And, you know, when I saw the title of the video, I was like, oh, that could be a magic pill video too. You know, like, he's got some secret. This guy's really smart. He's got a big following. I'm like, I'm really excited about this. As someone that is definitely identifies, and maybe that's some of my resistance to this video, as a people please, as a prisoner to people pleasing, and really, really paranoid about offending people, as Ray, you know, I've shared with you many times, and stepping into a more prominent role online, and sharing more and more content, not just through the podcast, but through my community channel and other projects and stuff, and just putting myself out there. And I told my partner the other day, I was like, I I haven't gotten a single thumbs down yet. She's like, wow, that's awesome. I'm like, I don't know if it is. I'm like, I'm terrified. I'm like, when someone finally gives me a thumbs down, I'm going to be like, why the fuck did they thumbs down it? What did I do? Like, what did I say? You know, because now my audience isn't huge. You know, it's like friends and family for the most part. It's not really like people I haven't ever engaged with. So no one's really going to be like, even if they don't like it, they're not going to be like, screw you, John with a J, you get a thumbs down. But that's bound to happen, especially now.
Yeah.
What I do appreciate that he opened me up to was the when I said gracing the shores of a more pronounced authenticity, a more deeper. You know, we talk about waking up all the time. There's layers, right? When there's layers to unraveling your authenticity too, and you think I'm authentic, and you're like, wait a minute, no, I'm not entirely authentic because being a people pleaser would lead you to, with the people in that offer you negative feedback, you might censor yourself in that moment, or backtracking and saying, oh, I'm sorry I said this, or I'll look at it this way in the future moving forward, even though you firmly believe that this truth that you shared, even if it offended someone, then you start censoring yourself. Now, when you get the praise, maybe you start pandering to that audience. You're like, oh, they really like this. I'm going to do more of this, and stay away from that. And that's not really an authentic expression of what you feel and what you want to do, because you are listening to both sides. And that was something I never really considered when he said, hey, it's not just about not caring, you know, what the negative voices are saying, but also not caring about the good. And I'm like, why wouldn't you want to do that? But it does kind of make sense, because as a creator, as an artist, as a communicator, connector, a builder of community, whatever you're doing, whatever your passion or purpose is in life, it does become, and he says this, it's like impossible. You can't make everybody happy. And right. I think I'm slowly in my 46th year of life, starting to understand that that's an insanity to try and do that. And I'm guilty of trying to do it. I'm like, nope, I'm going to make everybody happy. And if I don't, I will say something or do something to make sure that they understand that I wasn't being offensive. And you've heard me try to do this before in the podcast.
Yeah.
And it's going to offend somebody. There's definitely in every episode that we've done, even though we're very respectful of each other and the audience and the material, I guarantee in every episode we've done, we've offended somebody.
Right. And you can't help it. And you don't let that stop you from being who you are and saying what you need to say or what you want to say. And you got to continue, on that, have that vision. And he said, be grounded in your values. And he said the praise is okay. There's like nothing wrong with praise, but you don't, it doesn't keep you stay on that path. It doesn't sway you one way or the other. It doesn't change you. He talks about feedback and how feedback can be good. You know, there's nothing wrong with feedback, but someone who is a people pleaser, they're not really looking for feedback. They're looking for validation. That's really what it is. So you're kind of saying, oh, I want feedback. You're kind of almost lying to yourself in a way. You're not really being self-honest about what you really want, because, you know, I do wish he would have gone into the trauma part. I definitely think it would have made it a more complete video, but I don't really think it really was bypassing. I think if you're aware of trauma work and you kind of combine the stuff in this video, I think kind of both can go hand in hand. Maybe this could make you bring awareness that you are a people pleaser and kind of help you see through some of the paradigms that you're stuck in. So I think that could help, and that kind of brings some awareness to it. But I definitely think shadow work combined with the stuff he says in here is really the best solution for this problem.
Becoming more intimate with the part of you that's a people pleaser, and do that parts work. You know, sit with the person that is really addicted to this people pleasing. But there's definitely an aspect of you that wants to, you know, not give them the ring or the thumb, but the one you put up when you don't give up. Thank you, Eminem. Double barrels ablazing. I'm going to shoot a lot of birds this episode just because I can. Folks, if you don't hear me talking, I'm probably shooting birds. And I don't mean the kind flying in the sky. I'm talking, you know, the finger. So, parts work I think would be really good here, and get both aspects on board. And maybe by doing that, maybe by doing that parts work with the people pleaser part of your personality and the bird shooter, right? Maybe you find that gray area that he's talking about in the middle.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
And he said, because he says, no, you don't have to, don't worry, you're not going to be an asshole. And I will say that it really sounds like he was not contradicting himself, but really almost kind of encouraging you to flirt with the seas of assholery.
He was. He was.
Okay.
He even said in the there's like a pendulum that you're like a people pleaser is so much on one end, and then that it's okay to kind of go. You got almost have to give it some like momentum to go. Even if you go a little bit over that into the asshole range, it's okay because you're gonna find your medium. You're gonna find your center.
Yeah.
So maybe you need to go. You need to push a little extra harder just to get the pendulum swinging, to give it some motion. I think that's really what he was trying to say. But, as a people pleaser, I mean, we do kind of have some of that worry, especially people who are spiritual and people who are religious. Sometimes I think sometimes people like that are more prone to be people pleasers because we have sort of a model of how we think we ought to be. So I'm spiritual. I'm supposed to help everybody. I'm supposed to never think bad thoughts. I'm supposed to help everybody. And then we end up becoming sort of like a phony holy because we're kind of repressing some of that. So I think it's kind of letting some of that out. And maybe sometimes when you let it out, maybe it comes out a little stronger because it's been repressed so much. So maybe it comes out stronger initially that you kind of go into that asshole range, but then you kind of just,
Are you saying
it kind of works itself out.
Are you saying to let your inner asshole breathe?
Yes.
That's what it sounds like to me. A little musty, but I understand. I think you're right. I think, in fact, even my daughter has lovingly told me before that, you're an asshole, Dad. And when she said it, I wasn't like, what? She said it and like, I don't remember the context or whatever, but she had said it. She's like, oh, it's because you're an asshole. And we all like laughed, like, yeah, he is an asshole. Like from time to time not in a disrespectful way, but in that authentic way. Right. And that was, I was like, oh, my daughter thinks I'm an asshole, but she appreciates me for it. And I'm like, but I do an inventory. I'm like, is this okay? Being, spiritually committed to elevating and divine masculine and not being toxic, but being a good dude, being a hero, not the villain or whatever. And, but is it authentic? Is it too far? Because I disagree, and tell me how you feel about the exercise at the end, about walking into the Starbucks when it's busy. So lunchtime, there's 10, he said 20 people in there, and then do this exercise, walk up, and when it's your turn, and then stare at the menu, and then start thinking, and they're, sir, are you ready to order? And you just kind of like, he's like, take a few minutes. Are you shitting me? A few minutes is like a 57-minute video for people that are waiting to get their double doppio, triple lattes,
Right.
whatever. I don't know, man. That's purposely being a dick. And
that's a little extreme to me.
And
but can you imagine if the 3 million people who watched the video actually did that?
Oh my God, right? There'd be shit all over. What the fuck's happening at Starbucks today? Hashtag buy local,
But like to go on what I was saying before too, is that, people who sometimes repress those feelings, those anger feelings, instead of letting that energy flow, when it does come out, when it does get triggered, man, it comes out.
Woo!
So I think that's what he means by like, you may become more into the asshole range initially and you'll balance out because that inner rage, that whatever those feelings, that inauthenticity, that whatever that true self is being repressed. So when it comes, a lot of times if it comes out, if it gets triggered, it comes out stronger, like a fire hydrant, like a fireman's hose. Yeah. Where if you just all kind of, but then once it kind of comes out, then it kind of like steadies and it just kind of, it just flows naturally, your authenticity. Yeah. So, but at first though, it can't come out, that energy. I've had that. It happened to me personally at one point. I used to be great at repressing anger. superior at it. And I hated like showing anger. I thought showing anger was a sign of weakness, and I repressed all my anger. And it came out one time. It came out really big. I was going through a tough time after my marriage ended, and I was triggered, and oh boy.
Was
Oh
there
boy, oh
bail?
boy.
Was there bail money involved, or
No
not that bad?
comment.
Oh shit.
No comment.
Ooh.
But you know, but if had I been authentic and not repress that anger, that would have never happened. I mean, maybe I would have been upset, but I wouldn't have exploded like I did.
Yeah, that makes sense, and I like that you keep coming back to the pendulum and trying to find, where your groove is in the spectrum of things, where your gray area is, how dark that gray is, how light it is, what side of the force you're on, but I would challenge the audience to be creative with us. So some comments below, or let us know, and maybe during this episode, either you or I come up with a different challenge than the Starbucks challenge, because I think there's a way to tap into that without just being a jerk face, man. I mean, like, people are in a hurry. I mean, just imagine yourself in that line and someone's just like, yeah, fuck all of you. I'm just going to do my thing
Yeah.
because I'm doing the Leo experiment on actualize.org. Piss off, mate. Like, come on. Right. I don't know. That's just being mean, man. But I think there's ways to trigger yourself more creatively to tap into those feelings. I don't know off the top of my head, but
Right.
I'm sure you can come up with ways to do that.
And then he gives that mantra.
Yes.
Which I thought that was pretty good, that affirmation. The affirmation is, I am completely independent of the good or bad opinions of others. And he says to do that as a 90-day challenge, 5 minutes every day, repeating that for 5 minutes to cause that shift. And I think it's a good exercise to do. I think there's definitely could be some benefit to that.
Yeah, I dig the whole. Yeah, I was kind of resistant to the whole mantra thing at first because I started worrying that I was bypassing and whatnot. But I think when you integrate things mindfully and are aware of all things considered, that can be a very powerful tool. In fact, to reprogram yourself to a lifetime of hearing the other record.
I don't think it's bypassing, because I think
right.
a people pleaser is someone who's a people pleaser is bypassing.
That's a
They're the one
really good point.
So that is bypassing by repressing how you really feel in your authentic self.
Yeah, I agree. So that was illuminating for me too. I'm like, all right, I knew there'd be value in this. I didn't hate the video. Mm-hmm. I just wasn't as jazzed as maybe I hoped, or connected with it as deeply as you did. I also quite possibly distracted by other things in my life at the moment. So that weighs into the equation, I'm sure. But I did. I tried to make it personal, and how I can pull something very valuable out of this. And one of the things that's in alignment where I'm at currently is, I tried desperately, and this goes with that people pleasing thing, to build an audience for my comedy by any means possible. And that's setting up a Patreon, setting up a buy me a cup of coffee account, setting up a Subscribe Star account, and having all these accounts to where people can find me, and having just recently doing a Kickstarter, and just putting myself out there, and saying, like, here I am. But, and like setting up nice intros and nice stories, and like, hey, this is my mission, and this is, I'm a good guy, man, and I'm going to do good comedy. I'm not going to offend a single soul on the planet. I don't say that, but I mean, like, that, like, hey, I'm here and I'm going to do it in a different way, and I'm going to bring a new light and all this stuff. And what I find that I'm doing is kind of exactly what he said. I'm setting up things and I'm creating things for other people versus just putting out quality art and just producing content, not worrying about all that stuff and how are people going to find me, and making sure I have many ways for people to find me. If they don't like Patreon, then they can find me on Subscribe Star because they don't politically think Patreon's doing something right, or they really like what subscribe to us. So here I am pandering to all these people that don't even exist yet. So talk about an insanity. And so I dialed it back and I was like, okay, the message here for me is to not care about what other people think, is to really put, instead of all this effort and energy into setting up a new site and trying to promote and market something that really almost doesn't even exist yet, because I'm in the infancy of my comedy journey. Like, dude, get back on the journey and create and be an artist and drive that authenticity in an inspiring way. And he did say, people don't want to connect with bland. Yeah. And that I didn't write it down, but I wasn't going to forget that, because I don't ever want to be bland, not to be a people pleaser, but as an entertainer, as a storyteller, as a connector of people, as someone that thrives on being charismatic and lives off the feedback of the audience or whatever. Like you bland. And then I thought to myself, dude, you're probably coming across as bland because all of your focus is on setting up all these places for people to connect with you versus all this brilliant material for people to be like, wow, dude, this guy says what he wants, he does it. He's magnetic. So I learned in that failure. And I got to thank you again for sending me a video that I didn't think that I was going to connect with. I didn't think, was really worth my time to invest in. But there's always, folks, we say this in every video, man, there's always something there for somebody. It's like the cards, man, and we'll get to the cards today. But there's always a message there for you if you're willing to be open to it. And I was fighting it. I was like, I don't want to do the podcast this week. I'm not feeling it. I'm not like in this episode. It's not what I've hoped it would be and blah, 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 blah. Hold on. Wait a minute. That's a chopper. It was hovering right there above me like, hey, you ready to listen? You ready to listen? And so thank you, Bodhi Ray.
Yeah. And one thing he says too is about a people pleaser is that really what you're trying to do is you're trying to control the imagination of other people. And like really what it is, these thoughts. Yes, and he's like, what is these opinions of people are just thoughts. And he even goes on, he's like, look at how you could have a bad day. You could be running late for work or have a flat tire. And then somebody presents something like, let's say you're a comedy. And say someone had a bad day and hey, what do you think of what do you think of this, this comedy thing, that skit I did? And somebody might be like, yeah, that's crap. But because they're coming in it with they're having a bad day already. And then you may take that as personally like, oh, you were looking for some kind of validation or some sort of positive feedback or wanting something out of that. And now you may be like, oh, maybe I wasn't that good. Maybe I wasn't that funny. And you start doubting yourself. When really it had nothing to do with you. It had everything to do with that person, whatever that person was going through. And you're kind of giving your power over to people. You're handing that over to somebody. And you just need to kind of stick to your vision and stick to what you want, and like he says, be independent of the good and bad opinions of others and just stay your course.
Yeah. And there's so many places where other people's, just think about all the incredible distances and depths that your imagination can take you, Ray. And think about then trying to think about where someone else is thinking about taking whatever content or whatever you've said in whatever ways they want to twist it or either deny it or celebrate it or whatever. It's endless. So it's kind of an insanity to inject yourself into that, lose your day, lose your energy, lose so much power by just handing that over to somebody, or not just somebody. When you start, being an artist or even in business, whatever aspect, you're a teacher, whatever you are, just caring too much about what our friends, our family, everybody thinks, dude, it's draining. It is so, every one of these white hairs is probably exactly from that people pleasing and not feeling like, I'm enough. I hear that hair loss, and man, I got it thin up on the top, man, just concealing it, folks. But hair loss is a lot of times attributed to feeling like, you know, you're a failure, or you're not good enough and stuff like that. And you look at a lot of men, man, we all have our receding lines, and our, not all of us, but most of us, because especially in this Western culture, man, we're programmed that you have to be a success. You have to be a success. And what is success? And what is success? What is it? What does it look like? Oh, you don't know what it looks like yet? Got to go grab it. Got to go grab it. Got to go grab it. Dude, that's exhausting. And what is that? What is success defined in our culture? It's pleasing everybody, or the majority, right? And dude, that just run you into a grave, or 2 or 3 40 50 hour a week jobs, you know, because you got to make your wife happy, make your kids happy, and they got to have all this stuff, and you got to, man, you get caught up in that, you're gonna get burnt out. You are not going to live.
Also, this part wasn't in the video. I did some meditation on this stuff too, since I made some notes. And I believe, like, the bad part with people pleasers is that they don't stand up for themselves. And I've done that before in social groups, in relationships, because I was so trying to please the other person, or trying to be pleased maybe this popular group of people or whatever. And then you end up taking crap from other people, and you don't want to stand up for yourself because you're afraid of offending them. You're afraid of maybe them viewing you differently. And I've taken a lot of crap in certain situations because I didn't want to speak up, because I thought, well, I'll take it, or I'll make a joke out of it. And because I don't want to offend people. I don't want to be
That guy.
rub someone the wrong way, I guess.
Yeah. That's tough, man. That's
Yeah.
That's a heavy burden to carry, man.
And I even thought about that too in relationships, as I've gone on before about, you know, I had a relationship where the person cheated on me, and I had this gut feeling that stuff was going on. And I did bring it up, but I didn't bring it up as I should have. You know, I'd be like, you know, something was going on that was suspicious to me, didn't add up. And I think I was in denial. I definitely was in denial, because I never thought this person would ever do that. But I realized it kind of went along with the people pleasing. I was afraid of accusing her, standing up and be like, hey, this doesn't make sense what's going on. This is like, because I was afraid of offending her. I was afraid of accusing her and making her unhappy. And that kind of got in the way of, it stretched it out way too long of all the crap that I took. And if I wasn't so invested in being a people pleaser and being more authentic, I don't think it would have lasted. As I would have spoke up almost immediately as soon as there was like inconsistencies of story and actions and words and stuff. I think if I was truly authentic, I would have put a stop to it right away, instead of allowing her to kind of give me an explanation or give me an excuse. And I'd be like, oh, okay, I'll buy her excuses, because, you know, I don't want to rebuttal that, because I love her and I want to make her happy. And if I do that, it's just going to be, and a lot of this was on a subconscious level. It wasn't really, I was sitting here thinking about it.
Right.
But it was true though. I wasn't really, I wasn't standing up for myself as much as I should have. And another thing with a people pleaser, if you are a people pleaser, expect to meet a narcissist at least once in your life. Because there's one thing that a narcissist loves, is a person who's a people pleaser. And they will drain you dry. I know this from experience too, right, and other people that I know. And I think that's one of the ways a people pleaser kind of gets out of this kind of rut that they're in, this cycle, is that they meet someone who's a narcissist and they do everything to try to please them, and it's never enough. And that person's always taking. And then finally the suffering becomes too much that they have to do something about it, maybe confront themselves, or they kind of have a little bit of an awakening about it, or do some research.
Wouldn't you say that becomes probably a repetitive pattern point of attraction for people pleasers?
Absolutely.
And then that eventually becomes the exhausting wake up where you're like, why does this keep happening to me? Why do I keep attracting these people? Oh, okay, I get it. Because the suppressed aspect of you is that inner narcissist, right? That other side of the pendulum, right? And because you're such a people pleaser, you're attracting that aspect of you that you've denied, which is that gray area that's trying to come out. Not to say that you're a narcissist inside in secret, but there is an aspect of you that is drawing that person to be your mirror, right?
Right.
That suppressed element of you, that part that you've denied, right? And so that narcissist comes to say, hey, I'm here. And until you're aware of that, until you can integrate those parts and find that middle sweet gray area that Leo talks about, you're going to keep attracting it to those type of relationships or those type of people into your life. And then when you make that shift, the skies will clear and you'll have different experiences with different individuals, and you'll be on to your next lesson, hopefully.
It's really a lesson to love yourself. That's really what it is. Because a people pleaser does not really love themselves. They're looking for permission to love themselves through somebody else. They want someone else to love them and approve them, so they feel safe enough to love themselves, because they don't. And if that person that I respect, that person that whatever, that's this person who I really want something from, validation from, if that person thinks I'm special, then I must be special. Then it's okay to love myself, because all that stuff, all that unworthiness that I'm really attached to, what I'm identified with this unworthiness, this feeling of separateness. And that's why I can't love myself. So I need that external validation to show me that, to try to kind of override or bypass that stuff that I'm not really healing.
But unfortunately, what he said was, when you find that, it's always fleeting.
Right.
And so you're constantly chasing that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
And so it's never ending. So you can do yourself a service moving forward and try to find this spot that Leo saw. Now look, if you're not interested in investing 57 minutes, if that's not your cup of tea, so to speak, but you do want to get like the gist of what we've hit on today, or hear it from Leo's lips, fast forward to like 45 minutes in, play the last 12 minutes or so. I felt like it started getting a little juicy at that point. So that was a good point for me. I thought to like just encourage the listeners, if they haven't watched the video but aren't interested in the whole 57 minutes, jump ahead 45 minutes and take it for a ride. See how you feel.
True.
But hey, is this a good opportunity to do some cards, or you got something else you want to talk about first?
Well, I was going to also talk about authenticity too. Another thing that I experienced was on Facebook, is being true, and being a people pleaser, is that there's some people on Facebook that see me as Bodhi Ray, and there's some people that see me as, I don't know, just Ray. I don't know, the Ray that you know me as. And so, and I remember caught this kind of conflict, because I remember when I first started writing, sometimes I would share a spiritual quote or something that kind of came to me. I would write it out, or I'd put a post of something spiritual, and I'd be so nervous that I'm going to get judged by these people. And, the big group that see me as Bodhi Ray would get all these likes, and other people, work people, some family, just some random friends. I don't know what they thought, but in my mind, I'm imagining they were thinking, well, what is this crap? You're used to sending like memes and just crazy stuff, pictures on and stuff. So then I would go back and forth, but then I would meet people, friends from retreats and stuff. And if I would post something that's kind of maybe, I don't know, like dirty or something, a meme or something, a dank meme, I would think, oh my God, what are they going to think? I'm friends with like swamis and stuff on Facebook. I'm like, What are they going to do? And, I'd be so worried about them judging me. So then I created this like separate page on Facebook, and I put, okay, out of this separate page, and I'll put all my spiritual stuff here to please this group of people. And then I'll post my normal stuff on this group. And it worked for a little bit. Then I thought, like, what the hell am I doing?
Right.
I need to kind of integrate these both sides, and I am what I am. And if you only see me as Bodhi Ray, that's your problem. And if you only see me as ordinary Ray, that's your problem too. Because I'm both.
And right. so much more.
And so much more.
So many layers.
So many layers.
Today, folks, he's Bodhi Asshole. He always comes on the screen with a Bodhi name, and today he had me laughing. Just when I thought he couldn't come up with a better Bodhi name, today he was Bodhi Asshole. You know, in the little corner of the Zoom screen, you see people's names and stuff. I don't know if I could do it like that. I don't know. It's all reversed. But for some reason, when we record, you can't see our names. So I'll always let you know what Bodhi Ray is for the day. Today, he's Bodhi let his inner asshole breathe.
Right.
Oh, good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Let's get to these cards.
Yay, cards. So this deck is by Denise Lynn, and it is a 44 card oracle deck called Native Spirit.
Nice.
That was my hawk noise. Somewhat. And the cards, they look like the cover. Very nice, very nice. Medicine bag. Get your medicine bags out, folks. If you don't have a medicine bag, those are fun. You don't have to wear it around your neck. You can put it in your pocket or your purse, whatever have you. And throw some crystals in there, some smudge, a lucky die. I don't know, pendant from your grandmother, whatever. Powerful stuff, connective stuff, maybe some essential oil. I like medicine bags.
I don't have one.
Oh, they're beautiful. They can take any shape, form, whatever. You can even have an imaginary medicine bag. What? I don't know. But don't try to think about mine because I don't care about yours. What's he even talking about? All right, I got to put some good energy into these cards. Whoosah. We're going to have a good reading today, folks. This is for the collective.
Spirit.
Yeah,
See
buddy.
the native spirits drawing in.
He needs a new pair of Asics. Here we go. All right.
All right. Here it comes.
Oh, I think like maybe right in there. Like, how's it going? Oh, gosh. Oh, boom.
Thunder drum.
Man, you got to love that. What?
I wonder what that card means. I like it.
I cannot wait.
Sounds like kind of a chaos energy.
Thunder drum.
Is that like Thunderdome?
It is. I almost said Thunderdome earlier in our pre-call to you when we were talking about the dating game. Welcome to the Thunderdome. But thunder. Oh, it's alphabetical. Okay, so thunder. One day I'll get there. La 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 la. Card meaning: stand up and be counted. Be assertive. Don't be shy about sharing your gifts and letting the world know about your value. Declare with authority, this is who I am, and this is what I stand for. Gosh, darn, this is perfect. Make a stand for others less fortunate. Take risks. Walk in rhythm to the beat of your own drum. This is not time to step back or step aside. Your native spirit wants you to know. Throughout the world, indigenous people have called spirit through drumming. Drumming was used to activate one's fighting spirit before battle, as well as for joyous celebrations and sacred ceremonies. It was also used for healing rituals. In every case, the drum beat was used to open spiritual realms. A thunder drum calls the thunder beings from the sky, and they arrive with passion and incredible vitality. Drawing this card means that it's time for you to step into your passion. Make a stand in life for what truly matters to you, the journey. A powerful way to activate your life force is to drum on your chest lightly with a closed fist. It is especially powerful if you do a 2-beat. Boom, 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 like that, similar to the sound of a beating heart, which is the most primordial sound for humans. This rhythm is grounding and activates your strength. Boom!
I like it, man.
Dude,
that's perfect what the topic was today,
Thunder
man.
drum.
Thunder drum. I think Leo would have liked that one too.
And my healing name is White Thunder Horse, for those of you not in the know. Thunder drum from the Thunder Horse. Ba-boom!
There it is.
That was back in my awakening days. I was gifted a beautiful name from some wonderful teachers, and it was White Thunder Horse. And no matter what paths I ever walk, and no matter what new things I learn, I'll always take that beautiful name with me. I love the Thunder Horse. It's another side of John with a J, man.
I like it. I like it. I didn't know that was your spirit name.
Oh, well,
Learned something new.
Bodhi asshole meet White Thunder Horse. Do you have a spirit name given to you by a teacher or yourself
No, I
or
don't
otherwise?
know.
No.
No. Maybe someday I will. Maybe someday I'll be.
I think it's definitely in the cards. So stupid with my jokes sometimes. I'm not a joke teller, man. That's just it. People are like, "Oh, cool, you're gonna tell jokes." Nope. I'm a storyteller. I like to be in the moment and make funny lines or connections, but I'm not a joke teller.
No, you're a comedian, but not a joke teller.
No. Does that not make sense?
You're a comedian with no jokes.
That's fine. I told you I'm gonna break the mold, man.
The jokeless comedian. I like it.
That's it. Hey, I'm doing what I want. I don't have to tell jokes.
Right. You are independent of the good and bad opinions of others.
I am going 90 minutes.
No, he said for 90 days.
Oh, 90 days. That's right. 5 minutes. That's right. 90. That for 90. Go around like you walk up to Starbucks. I am not in the opinion of other people is good or bad. Sir, what can I get you? I am not caring of the opinion. Sir, please, for the love of God. So, hey, we got anything else on this episode, or are we gonna like wrap things up?
I think I'm good. I think we kind of said it all. He did say something weird. That what was it? That there's nothing that anyone can give you a value. I don't know about that one.
Oh yeah, good call on that, man. That was another one that rubbed me the wrong way.
That was sort of like I think I get what he was saying somewhat, that it has, but
no one can give you anything of value. That was a strong. I mean, I couldn't connect with that. I'm glad you brought that up.
I think that was. I think I get what he was saying, maybe because everything is impermanent and that you could only that fulfillment has to come within, not from something external. I think that's what he was going for.
In that context, it makes more sense.
Kind of like a Buddhist sort of thing, like a Zen sort of thing.
Right.
But I do think that we can get things of value from people. Obviously, I mean, I value you, White Thunder Horse.
Oh, Bodhi asshole. You're so sweet. Oh, God. No, but in all genuine sentiments, thank you. I've received that, and I do feel the same, Bodhi Ray. As far as the not getting value from other people's thing, look, man, I don't know if I can totally endorse this video. There are good parts. There are always good parts, like we said. I'm not waving the Leo flag on this one, although he has other videos that I'm sure are fantastic. I enjoyed the Spiral Dynamics episode. That was really good. But I don't know. I think it's kind of, I like the context you put it in. I think it is mildly dangerous to subscribe entirely to that, because then what are we even doing then? If I can't give, what does my art provide? My art, my comedy, the medicine, the gifts that I have aren't of any value to anybody, just to myself. Like, then what?
Well,
right?
I think what he means is if once you're, the way I explain it is, the way I see it is like, nobody can give you what you don't already have within. So if we're looking for that acceptance, we're looking for that approval, we already have that. We already are complete within. So I think what it is when you're already in that state of self-love, all your acts become an expression of fulfillment rather than you're striving to get something or obtain something because you feel that sense of lack. And that lack comes from parts of you that that need healing. So I think that's kind of what he's going for. But I understand what you're saying, though, that could be kind of interpreted on different levels. And some people can see that, hear that, and be like, oh, that's kind of trash what he's saying. I get value from my mom. I get value from this book I'm reading, or I get value, so I think there's different levels to what he's saying.
This is why we do the show, folks. This is why we do the show. Well, one of the reasons, but it's to bring this stuff that someone decided to share with the world before you and before us, because I really didn't think of it in the light that Ray just shared it in, and that really makes a lot of sense. That helps me connect my personal dots a lot more vividly as it pertains to this video and my life personally. So yeah, man, I think we're doing some good here, Bodhi Ray. I think the Bodhi Bros.
I don't care.
Yes, I want to get to his level, folks. He's such an ascended, I don't give a fuck master. One day I will get there. He's levitating high above me, like shooting birds down from above, and I'm shooting them back up, just aspiring to be as fucking non-caring as Bodhi Ray. Fuck, that was beautiful, man. But 101 subscribers Ray brought to my attention on YouTube. And I was like, stop. I couldn't even believe him. I didn't care what he was saying. I'm like, I'm going to check anyway. I don't believe you in your world, in your imagination. It was right on the money. It was 101. So we can set up a unique URL now. It'll be youtube.com/thebodhibros probably. But that's just a nice little milestone, probably. The fucking Bodhi Bros now, because right, I don't know, but that's cool. Ray, here's a little surprise for you: 19 countries.
19 countries. Wow.
19. What did we add? Oh my gosh,
Finland.
Yes, that's right. Oh, it's not a surprise. I told you via Messenger because I was so excited. That's right. Finland was one of them. Yeah. Thank you, Finland.
Thank you,
whomever
Finland.
you are. And then what was the other one? Shoot. I feel like I want to give props, man.
Netherlands?
Was it I don't know. Was it the Netherlands? I'm pulling it. Look, I'm taking the time to pull it up on Messenger on my phone here, folks, because this was important. Let's hear. Oh, Indonesia. What up, Indonesia? Thank you.
Namaste, Indonesia.
Thank you for tuning in, and to Guru YO University, where all the answers are, where all the secrets reside, folks, in you. We are just here to usher you to the door of wisdom and knowledge that others have shared, but really all of that love, light, laughter, and good, bad, ugly, and otherwise is all in here for you to tap into. T-shirts coming soon with Matt Kahn eating an ice cream cone. Just because we don't give a fuck, and we're gonna make one. Guru University. What was the other T-shirt that we said? Shit.
I don't remember.
Check out the last episode. Let us know if you have an idea for
Show
a
me
T-shirt.
your chakras.
Show me your chakras. I like that. Hey, how about the quote I dropped on Facebook today? That could be nice with a little like this, like a fist leaning into a hand like that, or something like that. The quote was, Don't what the hell was my quote? I thought of it this morning while I was on the shitter. Don't wait. Oh, don't meet
don't meet life with resistance, meet it with lean into love. There was something about lean into love.
This is my damn quote. How am I blanking out during the podcast?
I remember it more than you.
Shit. Don't hate. Don't hate. Celebrate. It was don't hit back with hate, lean in with love. That was it. Yes.
That's right.
So don't hit back when someone strikes you with hate, whether it's verbal or
maybe
physical.
Have like 2 boxers on there or something.
And some cool lean and I don't know, something
like that, like Bloodsport. He does that thing that Nick Van Damme does that thing with his.
Yes, what a nice movie to think about right now in this moment. And I think my quote was inspired by binge watching Cobra Kai so last weekend. That was a fun trip. Oh my God, couldn't peel my ass off of the sofa and watch that for episode after episode after episode, taking me down memory lane. Just kicked the chair. So join us next week for episode 16, where we have no freaking idea what we're going to be reviewing or talking about. But maybe drop us a note and let us know if you have an idea.
Or we could do maybe what we talked about too, is do maybe at 16 or maybe do like a review of all the videos so far, and maybe our takeaways, which ones we liked. Maybe maybe each of us do a top 5. We reveal our top 5 to each other.
This is possible. Well,
Hmm.
we have time since we did this episode early this week on a Tuesday, so we have at least a week to put something powerful together. A million thank yous to all 19 countries out there that have tuned
Thank you
in,
very much.
and those that have yet to join us. Thank you for the likes on Facebook, the comments, and the 101 subscribers on YouTube. A million thank yous. Love
Awesome.
from John with a J, signing out for today.
Namaste from Bodhi Ray.
And
We
we'll
out.
see you guys next time.